What's going on, guys? It's Robert out with Raintown Real Estate again. Hey, I'm here with my good buddy, Jason Gray with New American Funding. Bang, give me something right there. Hey, last class, and once again, thanks for hanging out with the rookies here. Last class, we talked about what happens when we take a new client and hand them over to a lender, kind of what they do, what they should be doing to make sure that we feel good about our clients on the other side. Today, we're going to do it a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. Today, we're going to talk about, okay, now we did that first class, and now we have somebody in contract. Robert Smith is now in contract.
Yep.
And now, boom, I give the documents to Jason.
Yep.
And as an agent, so much of the time, Jason, we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what are we supposed to do? What should we be looking out for? What we need, right. and we don't. So today I want you to talk about the life cycle of a loan. Okay. What happens from that day till closing?
Okay. So typically the agent will email me the contract and I'll reply, hey, I received it. And I'm going to give it a little bit of time because now I'm going to call the client up and talk to the client and say, hey, congratulations on your contract. Wonderful job. When are you doing your home inspection? Do you even know that yet? And just sort of have that basic conversation, reiterate what they think the loan should look like. And so I disclose the file properly. So then I will then in turn give it to my staff and I'll say, disclose the file to make it look like X, Y, and Z. Let it be a conventional FHA, USDA loan. What kind of interest rates going on at the time? Should we lock, not lock in the loan? All these type of particulars my staff will get. And then it'll take them about 2 to 3 hours and they work up the file. Then it gets disclosed to the client. In the meantime, I'm introducing myself. I'm calling the realtor, the buyer's agent, and the listing agent, introducing myself and giving them a good idea what to expect through the process. You should expect from a loan officer to give you at least a weekly update on a transaction. The loan officer should give you an update when the appraisal due date is, when the inspection is going to happen, what's going to happen through the process. And, our system here at New American Funding is a little more automated, so you get some automatic email updates from me as things happen. So I'll communicate probably a little bit more than most. You'll hear from some loan officers nothing. Yeah. So if you're not hearing from that loan officer, at least on a weekly basis, I at least want you to reach out to that loan officer because it's critically important. Right?
Okay, so I believe so.
Yep.
So, all right, so we just got in contract,
yep.
And now it's 2 days later. I haven't heard from the loan officer.
Big alert lights.
That's something that you should reach out for
100%.
Because you wonder, first of all, did they get the contract?
Right. Yeah.
Right? But are they even working on it yet? How many days do you have to get to get this started? Right?
Yeah,
how many days?
5 days, but you really should have it get done in 24 hours. I think if you're not hearing from by first 24 hours, I would reach out to them. Did you get that contract I sent to you? Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Make sure that contract's going out. So yeah, if you're not getting any communication, that's a big problem, right? There's a big problem. So now we've disclosed the file. So it's been a couple hours later, we disclose the file. I pick up the phone and call the client and say, hey, by the way, I just sent you some disclosures. I need you to log in with the last 4 of your social. Mm-hmm. I need you to e-sign them. Most lenders just go through e-signing. That's a simple process. Now, this client that we were talking about is already giving us everything, pay stubs, W-2s, and whatnot. If there is a point in time where we think we're missing something, within those first 24 hours, I'm going to send them to them. Say, hey, I just sent you your disclosures, but we're still missing these 3 items. I need them the next 24 hours or less. Okay. The other thing where most loan officers make a huge mistake is they don't tell the client to ask for the insurance binder up front.
I've seen that many times.
They do that at the last second all the time. Within the first 24 hours, you're letting that client know, I need you to get the insurance taken care of. Who do you have your car insurance with? Can you get a discount? Do you need an insurance agent? I got someone for you. Okay. We want to get that done because typically most loan officers, they won't even ask for that. So this is really important.
Okay, so can I just summarize here for a second? Okay, you get in contract. If you don't hear from the loan officer in 1 day,
yes, call.
You call them.
100%.
Yeah, probably not. You can email them, but you need to call them to make sure that they're on top of it. Make sure they're not on vacation.
Yep.
That no one watching their stuff. You got to get started on it right away.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that happens in that first week of what you just said.
Yeah. The stress level for the client is in those first 24 to 48 hours. Then after that, I let them know. Everything's going to calm down after that.
So how much more is the stress if they never got put the application in before they got the house?
I mean, you're having to get pay stubs, W-2s, bank statements, fill out applications, sign up fronts. There's so many things they have to do. If you've got everything done up front, it's going to make their process way smoother.
So guys, it's a really good thing to talk to your people about. make sure that they talk to the lender early, so that way they can get all that junk out of the way. So but when you get in contract, they can start worrying about inspections and things like that, and not worrying so much about their loan.
Yeah, the loan officer should ask the realtor too, when are you going to do the home inspection? Because by the time the client has e-signed their disclosures, I've got now permission to order the appraisal. Well, appraisals aren't taking that longer these days.
Right.
So what happens if you're not doing the home inspection for 5 days? I might get the appraisal back by then. So it's really critical to everyone to communicate. I'm going to be doing the home inspection this date. Go ahead and order the appraisal, but make sure the inspection date is a couple of days afterwards. So we're not being, incur some cost for the client. Because if the appraiser goes out and you guys back out, the client's responsible for that appraisal cost.
So that's the important part of that. One of our responsibilities as an agent is to make sure we're being good stewards of the client's money.
For sure, 100%.
So that's one of the reasons why we want to have the loan started beforehand. That way we can do that inspection right away until we can tell our lender, hey, we're done with our inspection, we're past it, and Jason can do the loan, or he can start the appraisal.
Yeah. Now, within the first 24 to 48 hours, they're doing more things. They're doing their earnest money. Right? Do they give their earnest money? Make sure the client knows how to do their earnest money. That's a life cycle of the loan process too, because we need to validate that earnest money is cleared, because we have to give them a credit. It's not like we just take their word for it where that money came from. We need to validate where that money came from. So I do let the clients know not only about the insurance binder, but I say, you're going to cash this earnest money check. I'm going to have to paper trail this where it came from. So keep in mind, someone's going to ask you for that at a later date. I want to prepare them for what's coming up, and I'm letting them know, okay, we got all this stuff ordered. We've ordered the appraisal, the title, the escrow, the insurance binder. It's going to be quiet for a couple of days. And it gives everyone to sort of breathe, because those first 48 hours is a lot of work. And so then they're breathing for a little bit. And I always say then I usually call the realtor, because by that time, I know what the due date of the appraisal is. So you should be hearing from the loan officer saying the due date on this appraisal is XYZ date.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Now I want you as a realtor to put that on your calendar, because if it's not there by the end of the business day on that day, the next day I want you to call.
Hello.
Did you get that appraisal in?
Right. So okay. So now we've talked on the first day, right? Now let's say the end of that week, or a week later, our conversation with the lender can be very much about, did you order the appraisal? Did you get all the disclosures done? Are there any other things that are getting in the way? Have the buyer given you everything that they need to do to get everything started?
Have you turned it into underwriting?
Yeah, have you turned it into? That's great. Has that part happened?
That first week, that file should be in an underwriter's hands. There's no reason why that file, by the first 5 days, that file should be in an underwriter's hand or has been reviewed. So we could do the pre-underwrite, but then we turn everything in with the contract. By that time, we usually have the title report, and now we have the underwriter review. Just here's the address, and here's what we're looking for. Because what I want to see what happens is I get an underwriter approval, right? Then I want to call everyone and say, hey, by the way, Rob, they're approved. And you're like, great, what's needed? We only need 3 items here, and we need the appraisal. So while I'm waiting for the appraisal to come back, I'm calling up Mr. Smith and say, Mr. Smith, congratulations, you got loan approval. I need these 3 items. And in doing so, the appraisal is going to come back in the next 24 hours. Can you get me those in the next 24 hours? So when the appraisal comes in, I can merge it and then go for a final clear to close, and then we're done.
So can I just say this right now? When Jason said, hey, we got an approval, can I say that's a conditional approval?
Conditional approval.
Because, I think some people think that first approval is meaning you're done.
Yeah.
And that is not. That's conditional approval. What they say is, hey, we've looked at everything, and everything looks great, except we need these things.
Correct.
Right? And if these things work out great, then the deal works out great.
We're good. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah. And we always try to remind the clients the basics. And I want you to remind the clients the basics as well. Don't quit your job. Don't go on vacation. Don't go buy a new mattress or a car or apply for any credit. There's some basic stuff. Don't transfer money from one account to another. There are some basics that we all just sort of need to work together as a team to make sure they don't make some foolish mistakes, because it happens. It's rare, but it gets ugly when that happens.
It is a mistake. A lot of times,
it's not intelligence.
We've had people write an earnest money check out of their credit card.
Yeah.
We had people get their earnest money from a relative or from a friend. They're like, I don't have my checkbook. Would you write this check for $20,000 for me? And then I'll write you a check. And they're like, yeah, no problem. And then all of a sudden,
it's an issue.
It's an issue. Yeah, and sometimes you don't find out to the end because you see that a check was cashed. But unless that everyone's paying close attention, they don't realize where that money came from.
Yeah, devil's in the details.
Always.
Always in this process. So if we're good, we're lucky and everything's happening really well, by week number 2, you should be pretty well done.
So week number 2.
Yep.
Questions that the agent should have for the lender are:
did the appraisal come back? Any work orders? Did it come in at value? Where are you at on your underwriting approval? Is your interest rate locked? That would almost be in week number 1, actually. Did you lock the client's interest rate? Really not your responsibility.
But you want to know.
But you want to know. Because if not, maybe the loan officer forgot.
And you know what? Also, what happens if the interest rates just jumped?
Exactly.
They don't qualify anymore.
They might not. Yeah. And honestly, if a loan officer is not locking the rate and that file is that tight where an interest rate can affect things, bad on the loan officer.
We're going to chase him down.
Yeah, that loan officer should no longer work with a loan officer who does that. So by week number 2, like you said, appraisal, did you get the insurance back? Is there anything I can do to help you? If there's ever a time where myself or a loan officer CCs you on an email because they're missing some conditions, please just pick up the phone and call the client. Hey, it looks like Jason just sent you a couple things. Do you need help on anything? Right? I'm willing to get in the car and go pick up conditions. You're willing to get up and call.
Whatever it takes
to get that deal done.
Yeah.
If it's in Moses Lake and I have to drive over Moses Lake to go pick up something because they can't figure out how to do FedEx, that's fine.
Because when that email comes out and it says, hey, I need some help, or it's not saying I need some help, but hey, I need these things. Jason just sent out smoke signals. It's like an SOS saying, get your stuff done. Yes. And I need some help getting that stuff done, or otherwise you're not going to close on time. Yeah. You have to see that and understand that and kind of read between the lines there.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're about a week before closing.
So we're assuming a 4-week close.
4-week close, yeah.
Right?
We're a week before closing.
Now, in week 3, let's summarize. What are the questions you're going to have for the agent? What's the agent going to have a question for the loan officer after week 3?
Okay. Week number 3 is where are your closing documents at? When you're expecting to arrive in escrow, and or has anyone started a signing time, and has everyone talked to them about their final cash to closing? It's called a closing disclosure. So that's really important. So I personally want to see those docs in escrow by week 2.5 because I don't want to cut it that close. People travel, people have schedules. We don't want to create that last little bit as a stress point for them. We want this to be the last little bit is like kumbaya. Yeah. This is great. Everything went well. Jason made this so easy. We don't want that stress. So the last question is, where are those closing documents at? And where's that closing disclosure at? That closing disclosure is a critical document because let's say I order it late. The client has a 3-day right to review that document, and I can't have them legally signed until that 3rd day. So it could cost you a closing date if they don't get it out early. We can do it as soon as we get loan approval. Some companies wait until they get the appraisal back. So we typically do it incredibly early in the process. So
it's a huge benefit.
So
you will hear the term CD.
Yep.
When they mention the term CD, they're talking closing disclosure.
Yep.
It's a very important document that they changed after the crash in 2008, 2009, that they make sure that the buyer has documents, basically the terms of the deal are accepted 3 days in advance.
Yeah, back in the day, you could just send docs in escrow. They had to sign literally within 2 hours and fund, and they didn't have the opportunity to review what they were seeing, what the terms were. It's a good thing for a client. There's nothing wrong with this at all. This is
Regulation Z or something like that. It's something to just make sure the buyers get taken care of. So basically after week 3, you want to say, hey, we're good, right? We're closing. Where are my documents? What's happening? CD's already gone out, right? And a good loan officer will tell you, hey, I sent out the CD or the CD's done.
They should call you for that, for sure.
Yeah.
So they should say, this is when the appraisal due date is. This is when the lock is. This is when the lock expires. This is when the CD went out. We're clear to close. We're ready to, we're ordering documents. It's the best time for me to call is saying, hey, Rob, we got clear to close. Hey, by the way, I'm ordering documents. If we order these documents by 3 o'clock today, they're going to come out today as well, right? Most lenders take 24 to 48 hours. We get docs out that same day. And then I call up escrow and say, hey, escrow, closing docs are going to be arriving here in a couple hours. I let the agents know, both the listing and buyer's agent, of course, say, hey, congratulations, we're putting closing documents in escrow. Let's make sure everyone's all ready to sign. Let's make sure they have the wiring instructions or the instructions to get their money order so they can come in and sign. And then at that point in time, I need to call the client. Congratulations, you're all done. What to expect now? What's the signing look like? I need to have that communication with them signing. If you can go to your client signings, myself included or you included, it creates so much more synergy. You're going to get more referrals. It's a good opportunity at that point in time to ask for referrals. The best time to ask for referrals is while you're in the process. You're going to get the most amount of deals at that time. If you ask for after or before, you're not going to get as many. I still want you to ask, but you need to ask through the buying process. It's the best time to ask for referrals.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
You got to remember the highest stress for your clients is in the very beginning and in the very end.
Totally. The middle is pretty chill.
It's pretty chill because it's mostly just like a to-do list of things.
Yeah.
You know, clients oftentimes ask me, Rob, you know, the lender stopped calling me. What am I supposed to do? And my answer is always pack.
Yeah, right.
Pack. I get ready. I mean, we're leaving, right?
Yeah,
We're getting
right.
ready to go.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're doing a last day. So let's get ready.
If you're not able to get a hold of the loan officer that's on file, then you call their manager.
Yeah.
If you're not getting the communication you need, you call their manager and say, I'm sorry to call you, but this loan officer's not calling me back, and my clients are a little stressed out. Where are we at on this process?
99% of the time, they'll help you. They'll help you get today. And they'll tell you what's going on if someone got sick or whatever.
Yeah.
But most lenders have that figured out. If something happens to someone, someone's jumping in there.
Yeah, someone's jumping in.
Yeah,
But don't let it linger at all.
Right.
Okay, so closing happens. They sign all their legal documents. Takes 45 minutes?
Depending on what type of deal and how much they want to look over it. It's anywhere between 30 minutes and probably 2 hours.
Yep.
Most people take about 45 minutes. And then what's next? You signed your documents. Is the house yours?
Nope. So the documents come back. Usually
That was
scanned
quick.
Yeah,
Nope.
right? Nope. You're done. You're done.
No.
So the documents are scanned back to us. At least this is our procedure.
Yeah.
We don't need originals. We just need the scanned copies back within FedEx saying that they're going to be shipping us the originals. We trust them, right? They're escrow. They're not going to do anything funny. So in doing so, then we review those documents and then we bounce with escrow. We want to make sure our wire and their wire matches. Make sure the client's money has been brought into escrow either through a wire transfer or a money order. And then at that point in time, we're ready to go. I would rather fund the loan first thing in the morning than wait until 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Otherwise, everyone's a little stressed out.
Everyone gets a little stressed out. So then let's say we fund the loan. Then it's congratulations time. Rob, they funded. Robert Smith, their loan funded. You know, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the greatest part of the transaction. Then you guys can worry about arranging getting keys and all that stuff. I think as an agent, I think you start planning that about a week beforehand. How are we going to exchange keys? All that type of stuff. But for the most part, it's a pretty simple process. As long as you don't have anyone just dilly-dallying and not doing their work within 24 hours, you're totally fine. But if you have someone waiting a week and they went on vacation, it can be a struggle bus. But if they're in the United States and they're over in New York, we can FedEx the docs back to us. We just have to have a mobile notary, print them, and do all that stuff. So if they're on vacation, it can still work. Don't worry about it.
What's the number one reason of a loan delay in your history? Is it because people haven't brought you their stuff?
Yeah, I mean, those initial 48 hours I can't stress how important those initial 48 hours are. So I think if you're having a conversation with your clients, I say, whatever you need to do in the first 48 hours for Jason or whoever that loan officer is, it's critically important you get that stuff done because after that, it's going to be really easy. I think for first 48 hours sets the tone for everything.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I think as an agent, we have to get our people prepared for that. Like, okay, as soon as you get in contract, you talk to your lender. That's your number one person to talk to right now. Get all that stuff done. Everything they tell you, don't whine about it. Don't complain about it.
Yeah.
Get it to them.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. You're going to loan someone $500,000, $700,000. What information would you like from them?
That's right.
Well,
it's your money.
they feel the same way.
Yeah.
It's their money. They need to be a good steward of it. So they're going to ask you a lot of stupid questions. They're going to ask for a lot of dumb things, and you're going to do it.
And it's okay to question things. Why are they asking me for this?
Yeah.
Why do you think they're asking? There's always an explanation on why those questions are being. They're not just trying to do it to be rough.
No, they're not.
And they're usually pretty good.
The most important thing to talk about, the last class in lenders' side of real estate, is going to be what are the different types of loans, what are closing costs, what are prepaids, and why do they matter to us?
Okay, cool.
Right?
Okay.
So, hey, once again, this is Rob from Raintown Real Estate. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. This is part of our rookie class that everyone goes through when they come into Raintown when they're a new agent. And it's important that you understand what our clients go through,
100%.
right?
Yep.
So that way they have the best experience. So appreciate it.
Thank you very
Jason,
much.
Thank you so much for the class.
Absolutely.
Bam. We'll see you on the next one.
Take care.
FHA, VA, conventional, USDA, all these cool programs. Stay tuned. We're coming up.
Bye.